Rachel Rosenblatt, Senior Managing Director at FTI Consulting, talks to host Doug Simon on PR's Top Pros Talk.
Rachel, in addition to your knowledge about communications, you're working in the retail and consumer sector. So sometimes you need to bring in expertise in those areas. What's the key to making sure you've got the proper balance of communications knowledge and sector expertise?
At FTI, we're really set up to offer just that to our clients. So the way that we approach our clients and our engagements is we want to understand their business really well. And so that's why we bring in sector experts. And we also want to make sure we're bringing the people who know their issue the best. Is this corporate reputation? Is this investor relations? Is this bankruptcy? Is this M&A, shareholder activism? You name it, we could go on and on. So we build our teams from the beginning to make sure we have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I'm seeing this across many companies. There's more collaboration required, whether it's PR, marketing, sales, or any other sector. So how are you collaborating with different teams? Is there sort of a secret sauce to make the flow go much easier?
I think this is one of the nice things about being back in the office is as you're asking that question, I'm thinking all I have to do is look to my right and bring in colleagues who know more about a different area of expertise than I do. So you don't have to be together to do it, but it is nice to really sort of back in the office together and have that. I think generally, though, it's about understanding what is our client going through, what are their real issues, and then finding the best experts who can address that. So knowing my colleagues, if somebody has an issue that is going to be really consumer facing and impact their consumer PR, I can pull in my colleague has that expertise. If it's a crisis and somebody I know has worked on that sort of matter before, I'm going to bring them in. So there's no one size fits all, but I think it's about having the right talent and the right people around the team to augment, whatever it is that I bring to the table and the other people leading the work might already know and have done.
For some campaigns, there's a bit of a push-pull because if you're pulling someone in, they might not be working on the P&L within their own group. And that can be a big stressor at a lot of organizations if they're just measuring performance based on your individual P&L. Is there a way to get around that?
One of the things when I'm meeting clients for the first time or maybe pitching that I'll say to them is the question that you're not going to ask me, but that you should ask me is what's your P&L structure? And ours is we are one P&L across the Americas within FTI Strategic Communications. So what does that mean? It only benefits me to bring in people from other teams. If I think a client needs a little advice on a topic that I don't know about, it's good for the client, it's good for FTI. If I can pull in somebody, so going back to political season, we might be working with a client on a corporate reputation focused matter, but they are doing something in a community where we say, well, should we be thinking about engaging with your local elected officials? I can pull in somebody from our public affairs team to talk to our client for a couple of hours to see if that makes sense. So I think it's actually a real benefit of the way that we're structured, and it allows us to bring our best people and our best advice without having to think about internal P&Ls or sort of the barriers that a business can put in its way, probably inadvertently, but that ultimately are going to impede you from giving the best advice to clients. So since we don't have those barriers, we can just bring in the right people at the right time.
Yeah, I think to your point, if we can just get more people asking before they take on agencies, how they bring in people from other teams to help solve their issues and work on their campaigns, that's very revealing about the P&L because clearly you're not going to want to do it and you'll have fights and be wasting time with leaders of different teams arguing about resources. You also put a lot of emphasis in keeping your clients updated on industry knowledge. What are some of the ways that you go about, and do you have any guidance for others who are looking to seek that kind of information?
I oversee the consumer and retail team here within the US, and we wanted to make sure that we were staying as up to date as possible on trends, issues, more than just the news of the day. It's very easy to follow what's going on in the markets, what's going on in news of the day, but what's really influencing the way that our clients are engaging with their customers, that they are, sort of maybe seeing the world. And so we put together a newsletter and it's called The Goods. And every week, The Goods puts together in a very fun, readable, tight format the news of the week, the trends, the issues that are driving conversation and that are impacting all different facets of retail and consumer, because it's a really wide sector. It's more than just, the retailers and the e-commerce. It's everything from, could be a youth serving organization, it could be a college or university, it could be a consumer packaged goods company. So there's a lot in there. Every week we put together The Goods. We send it out to our friends and family, AKA clients, former clients, prospects. But we've also, because we see the benefit to people within the industry who might not be working with FTI, if you check out my LinkedIn, you'll see that every week we post something called The Goodies. The Goodies is let's call it the little sister of The Goods. And she's a video that gives you in about 1 minute the highlights of the news of the week. And there's always a link in those posts to sign up for The Goods. So we're happy to share these news and insights and what is, I think, really a very fun read.
That's great. And, far be it for me to want to ask you to give away all of your secrets and predictions about what's coming around the corner affecting consumer and retail. Maybe you can give us a slice or two to give you an idea of your thinking. I know holiday season will be coming up. That's hugely important time for consumers and for retail. Any things you're seeing that people should be starting to think about now that maybe they aren't thinking about?
Well, I think people are enjoying these really connected experiences that they're having when it comes to shopping. So that's a really integrated, seamless experience from your array of mobile devices, because most people have more than one mobile device, to the way that you're interacting with a brand online, to the store experience. So expect to see more and more companies that are doing better when it comes to integrating that experience. That's one thing that's separating from the winners from the not so winners. But I think generally people are really being thoughtful about how they're spending their money. You're still seeing some people hold back a little bit more, but you're seeing other people who might have soured a little bit on feeling like, the American dream of a home with a picket fence. They might feel that that's beyond them right now with interest rates. So people might be deciding more to spend on experiences, if it's that fabulous trip or that fabulous dinner out. People are still flocking to luxury items, to retail. At the end of the day, consumers have a limited amount of money. They're making choices about where they're going to spend, but they are out there spending. Although, of course, in any election year, we're going to be watching carefully to see how much caution is creeping in. And I think, the fireworks have already started, and it's probably not gonna calm down between now and election day.
Yeah, and it is interesting from our perspective how, from a media perspective, if you're trying to get your clients on, local TV is sort of avoiding the day-to-day political stuff that's on all the cable networks. So we're seeing clients get a lot of exposure there, where obviously it's much harder to get on the news networks. Any final thoughts you'd like to add to this discussion? Really appreciate your insights.
I think at the end of the day, so much of what we do for our clients and advising our clients comes to bringing together that right amount of experience, but also critical thought. And there's no amount of past experience that is going to be exactly the determinant of what the next right step is. And so that's what excites me about what we do every day, having those interesting, juicy conversations with clients, playing devil's advocate, and getting to the right place. So I think anytime you can partner with your clients, we're bringing what I think is the best of what we can offer to the table in terms of understanding company, their industry, their business, having that expertise in the type of issue they're dealing with, but then really thinking about what could be around the next corner. That's exciting about what we do.
That's awesome. Well, this has been a great conversation, and thanks so much for your time. Continued success.
Thanks for having me.